Excited to present this webinar today, How to Succeed with Online Therapy, a Newcomer's Guide. We're going to cover a breadth of interesting topics, but really what we want to cover are items that can help schools fully optimize and utilize the potential that lies in online therapy solutions. With this, I want you to note that we do have a chat window there. I would encourage you, as you have questions, to let us know what those questions are. We've reserved a Q&A section at the back, so we will note your questions as you have them, and then we'll address them at the back of this presentation as well. If you have questions, then we can address those as well too. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get started. And with that, so one other announcement to make: Rachel Patlas, who was originally going to participate with this event, is not able to attend today. So we're fortunate to have Jeremy Glauser and Mallory Fry with us, and we will let them assume the rest of the subject matter. Just so you know, my name is George Dayton. I'm the moderator here, but I will quickly be turning the time over to Jeremy Glauser and Mallory Fry. Jeremy is the founder and president of eLuma Online Therapy. He's been working in this space for many, many years and has some very interesting insights about online therapy. Mallory Fry has also been working with eLuma and in this space for several years, but as a background, she is a speech-language pathologist, and she works with our team on implementation and customer success. And so moving forward, we just wanted to give you a little bit of a background about eLuma Online Therapy. We were founded in 2011 under a different name. We presently have a team of 85 dedicated therapists, employees, and we are working all over the country delivering speech and other forms of therapy services for K through 12 special education departments. And with that, I thought perhaps Jeremy, as the founder and president, could maybe just give a little bit of a background about our company and the values and some of those other things.
Yes, thank you so much, George. I appreciate that intro. This is Jeremy Glauser. And George mentioned that we have changed our name recently, and one of the main reasons that we changed our name from VST to eLuma is because we want to align ourselves with special education teams all over the country, and these are some of the values that we hold near and dear. At the heart of who we are is empathy. I think all of us understand that understanding and really relating to those that we serve is one of the keys to finding success. And we believe that that can lead ultimately to a more dependable and valuable solution. And I guess we can make some assumptions as to why most of us are here in the webinar today. And what we know is that there is a great need for related services in special education. And online therapy can be provided for speech and OT, counseling, behavior intervention, and others. Assessments can be administered. I'm sure many of these things have probably come up as you've researched online therapy. It's probably safe to say that you or someone you know is interested in how online therapy can blend with on-site therapy in a district. Because it is no secret that online therapy is going to become a more integral part of special ed departments. And we want to help establish an expectation, a realistic expectation, as well as an understanding of what it takes to be successful when you do combine online and on-site therapy. So the layout for what Mallory and I are going to talk about today can be broken down into these parts. I'll go through some introductory information on online therapy. Mallory will talk about how it works, and then together we'll discuss getting started and some best practices. So let's talk a little bit about the origins of online therapy and why online therapy has even come about. If we look back to the past decade or so, there's been quite a surge in in online learning, online shopping, technology has increased. A lot of things have changed in our day-to-day life. And in the last decade, what has also changed is there aren't enough therapists to meet the needs of the students that we serve in our special education departments. There are many reasons that could be attributed to this change in our environment, but a few key things to understand. Universities are not graduating enough therapists. And really what it comes down to is there just aren't enough accredited universities to do so. And when those therapists graduate from the university, about 5 in 10 therapists will exit the workforce after 5 years in the workforce. And that leaves kind of this revolving door effect and a constant recruitment effort that districts have to engage in. So again, over the coming decade, and here recently, we've had more and more baby boomers getting a little bit older, needing more health care, and healthcare is pulling therapists out of education. And in many cases, healthcare is attracting therapists with higher pay or different things. And so in the next decade or so, again, looking at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, ASHA, and many other sources of data around this, the trends are showing that about half, or 46% specifically, of all speech therapists are going to exit the workforce, which leaves us without the staffing and the support that we need. And really what this comes down to is it's a catalyst for us to adopt online therapy faster and support our online therapists better and blend those two concepts together. Technology has never been better. Tools are being developed to make online learning more effective, efficient, and blending online and on-site therapy really can bring some great outcomes. So some problems that come as a result of this change in environment: we're seeing national shortages. There's a high rate of turnover within a lot of districts. Obviously, this is not affecting every single district in the country, but it is affecting a growing number of districts across the country. And then high vacancy, or students not receiving services. Right now, we estimate that there are about 5,000 unfilled positions in education for therapists. And over the next decade or so, give or take a margin of error, we're projecting that will quadruple to, say, 20,000. And the need for that is growing. So a lot of schools find themselves out of compliance because they can't provide all of the needed services that their students require. And this leads to lawsuits and due process. I don't know if you are aware, but one of the reasons for an increasing budget or expenditure in a district is due process. And due process oftentimes ends in litigation. Hopefully, very infrequently does that happen, but in some cases, litigation does add to those expenses that districts incur. And when therapists feel this pressure of high caseloads and the staff in a district feel this pressure, what happens is the morale may lower, the therapist might leave, and again, it's a challenge that many districts are experiencing today. So a lot of responses that districts are using to respond to these problems include out-recruiting the competition. And so hiring staffing agencies, maybe paying a higher salary than another district, attracting them with better performance reviews, etc. And increasing caseloads or increasing group sizes in therapy is all too common. And of course, we're going to do what we need to do for the kids that we serve in special education. But it is hard to provide the level of quality when we have high caseloads or large group sizes. And sometimes what we've seen in certain areas is the eligibility requirements are becoming more strict, and students are not admitted to special education where they may be admitted in a different set of requirements. And in some cases, districts just have exhausted all of these options, and they find themselves in this cyclical problem that they are having a hard time dealing with. And so what our thesis is that online therapy blended with on-site therapy can produce a solution for many of these concerns and these issues that are common and are increasingly prevalent in our special education departments across the country. So I want you to step back for just a minute and forget about those problems. And I want you to think about a different world. I want you to envision something different, something better. What if you could eliminate the recruiting nightmare altogether? What if that wasn't even an issue that you had to come back to every year? Or what if you could bring specialists into a district and not have to pay high rates to attract those specialists because of long driving distances? Or you're restricted to a certain recruitment pool because only a certain recruitment pool will be willing to drive to the specific locations and schools that are in your district or in your co-op. And there's a world out there that where some of these common problems aren't as prevalent. And what if you could raise the bar of therapy by eliminating windshield time or traveling between locations and maybe wasting some of the day when you could use that for therapy, or accessing robust curriculum, reporting insights, and alleviating high caseloads so that we can get to these students, help them progress, and close the student achievement gap faster. And we as a company work with districts across the country, and as we were working with a district, a very large district in Georgia, we were pleased to find ourselves aligned with them in the sense that they see a day when they offer their parents the option of on-site or online therapy. And that would facilitate learning from home or outside of academic hours where interruptions aren't as intrusive to that student's education. So the model of therapy is evolving. It's evolving very much. And what used to be accomplished with simple recruiting tactics and the district being able to find everybody that they need on site evolved into a lot of outsourcing and bringing in staffing agencies to recruit on a more national level. And unfortunately, even that tactic is quickly drying up as far as the resources go. And what we are seeing and what's happening in special education is districts are blending online and on-site therapy because you don't have to be restricted to geography when it comes to recruiting. You can bring in specialists. You can hire with precision. So blending that on-site and online therapy is very much an approach that is going to take a foothold and dig deeper roots into special education departments across the country. Now, Mallory is going to talk to us a little bit more about how it works so that you can understand that better. And I'm going to turn it over to Mallory for the next little bit.
Great, thank you, Jeremy. And hello, everyone. As George mentioned at the beginning here, I am a speech therapist, and I've been practicing for almost a decade now, and I have become very familiar with all of these issues that Jeremy just mentioned. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about various blended online therapy solutions, as well as benefits of online therapy in general. But so that you can get an idea of what an online therapy session might look like, let's start with a video. So let me get that pulled up here for you. Okay, can you say it in a sentence for me?
I heard The cat purr.
Yay! I shut the door. Did I say that the right way?
No.
No. How should I say that?
You shut the door.
Yay! Very nice. All right, I really want that new video game, but it costs an arm and a leg. What does that mean?
It is very expensive.
Yay! All right, continue. Uh-oh. Are you better at bowling in real life?
Not really.
Not really. All right, so would you like to play Toka Monster or My Tom?
Toka monster.
Toka Monster. What would you like to feed the monster next?
Broccoli.
Broccoli. Good R. Okay, can you give me a sentence using the word fair?
I love going to the fair.
Good, nice R sound. But he doesn't like broccoli. What is this word here?
Therapy.
Very good. Go ahead and put your mark in the square. Very nice. Okay. I'm going to say this word. Free. Did I say that correctly?
No.
No. How should I say that word?
3.
3. Was that better? Awesome. All right. Your turn. What's this word here?
Thumbs up.
Very good. Go ahead and put your mark in a square. Nice. Okay, I'm going to say this. This word is thunder. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Very good. Very nice. Okay, so now that you have a better idea of what might happen in an online therapy session, let's explore how online therapy raises the bar for better services. So through contextual implementations, or what we call blended models, online therapy offers customizable solutions to the common problems that Jeremy just mentioned just a few minutes ago. And we're going to take a look at 3 different models. The first is the tandem model. So in this model, the on-site therapist works with some students on the caseload, and the online therapist works with other students on the caseload who are a good match. So together, they're able to meet students' needs with much higher efficiency. And there's lots of different variations of the tandem model. So for example, the online therapist can support the on-site therapist by assisting with specific tasks, such as evaluations or consultations, which then allows the on-site therapist to focus on therapy delivery. The next model here is the supervised model, and here the online therapist supervises qualified aides or assistants who provide therapy to students on site. The online therapist then manages all of the caseload, including IEPs and evaluations, while the aide or assistant provides a majority of the therapy on site. And our final model here is the traditional model, and this is probably what we're probably all most familiar with. And in this model, the online therapist manages the entire caseload, including IEPs and evaluations, while also providing all of the therapy to students assigned to her caseload. So along with all of these blended therapy models come lots of great benefits. So I'm going to touch on several of the most notable ways that can transform your program. And we're going to start by taking a look at how online therapy can expand your clinical capacity. So first, online therapy is completely customized and tailored to meet your exact need. So depending on the model you choose, it can provide as much or as little as you need, and it's flexible, accessible, and completely relevant to you. So depending on your need, your online therapy provider can complement your existing therapy program by offering additional services or specializations, or it can support your existing program and on-site staff by sharing caseloads or case management responsibilities. Or online therapy can completely absorb full caseloads and be the main therapy provider for your students. And by implementing online therapy, you have access to highly specialized services. So online therapy providers have a huge pool of therapists that they can choose from, and therapists come from all parts of the country and actually all parts of the world, and that brings a broad clinical experience. So here at eLuma, our therapists have an average of 7 years experience in the school setting and 11 years of experience in general practice. And because of this, we can match therapists with specific skill sets to students with specific needs. And online therapy significantly increases the ability to support on-site staff. So since we can complement and support and absorb caseloads, we can reduce caseload and group sizes overall. And as a result, online and on-site therapists have more opportunity for collaboration among everybody on the IEP team. There's faster progress and better student outcomes. There's more scheduling flexibility and less pull-out from core classes. It can decrease stress and burnout rates for on-site staff. And as I mentioned before, the online therapist can case manage and attend meetings and phone calls and take some of those responsibilities off the on-site therapist's plate. And that allows for increased opportunity for professional development and things of that nature without falling really behind. So let's shift to some of the benefits related to the technological aspect of online therapy. So obviously technology is integral for online therapy programs, and since all software platforms are different, I'm going to focus on our technology here at eLuma just to give you an idea of all the benefits related to the technological component here. So our online therapists have a comprehensive system at their fingertips, including everything from lesson planning and materials management to data collection and progress reporting. So as a result of these technological capabilities, our therapists reach greater efficiencies and productivity levels. They can easily complete documentation after every single session, which means that comprehensive progress monitoring and attendance data is immediately accessible to authorized users. And this leads to greater transparency. It facilitates collaboration, and that results in better student outcomes. And all of our software and recording keeping databases are HIPAA compliant. So each therapist has a dedicated, secured classroom, and she controls who enters the classroom, which really reduces those privacy concerns. And the eLuma Secure Portal can be described basically as an electronic filing cabinet, and it stores all necessary student information in one centralized location. So you know right where to go to find the information that you need, and you can find it quickly. And our virtual backpack offers thousands of easy to find, organized materials and lessons that are already created. There's also tools to create customized content tailored for unique student needs. And all of our content is relevant to academic goals and curriculum. And finally, because of cutting edge, industry leading technology, online therapy is not just fun, but it's very effective. So students have a great time in their online sessions. They pick up the technology quickly and they respond favorably to an online platform. And for therapists, it's easy to adapt what we might think of as that typical face-to-face lesson or activity to an online session, because there's so many different tools and features that make our sessions so similar to what you might see in a very engaging face-to-face session. And most students progress as expected and sometimes even better, and they're motivated to participate, they're attentive, and they're highly engaged. So I'm going to turn it back over to Jeremy now so that we can jump into everything that you would need to know to get started with online therapy.
Awesome. Thanks, Mallory. The goal here is just to give you an idea of what it takes to get started and establish some appropriate expectations for any of you who are considering or have already decided to implement online therapy into your district. And it really comes down to some simple steps. We need to know the caseload, which students are going to receive online therapy. We have a checklist of a few technology requirements, and then it's creating the schedule and getting started. So I'll talk about an easy point of contact. This person is the champion within the district. Online therapy is more likely a cultural change for many of the staff, and it's natural for some people to feel like this is against or in competition with their job, but it is not. The idea behind this is to help them to expand their clinical capacity. So we want to engage with this champion to facilitate the implementation and evangelize the benefits of online therapy for the rest of the people involved. And this person, who is the point of contact within the district and also the champion, will help do some coordination. They will put our team in touch with the IT and technology specialists within the district to go over some technology setup. They'll help gather the caseload and make sure that the therapists providing online therapy have access to IEP information. And they'll just serve as an ongoing point of contact to facilitate communication and, like I mentioned, be the champion of some of the cultural changes that do come with this implementation.
Live online therapy can be effectively delivered to individuals or groups. Another great benefit of online therapy is that students often have the opportunity to receive more one-on-one intervention with their online therapist than they typically can with an on-site therapist. So students can also be seen in small groups, and it's important to determine if therapy will be delivered to individual students or to groups of students or a combination of the two. And once that's decided, the best location and tech setup and therapy schedule can be finalized.
And once we identify who the right students are, whether they're groups or they're individual, that does influence the type of location. And typically the location for the therapy station is within the school where those students attend class. And so within that space, it could be a resource room, and we designate a computer in one of the sections of that room. It could be a special education teaching room, an intervention room, a small office space. Really what's important is that these children receiving the online therapy services have a quiet and confidential place. And along with that, we do want to make sure that the desk and the chairs, the height is all appropriate to their age and how tall they are, because they need to be able to interact effectively with the therapist. So it's important to verify that the equipment is good to go, and that's what takes place between the IT specialist within the district and the IT specialist on our end. Usually the main point of contact within the district helps make the decision, or does make the decision altogether, of where therapy will take place. And then that information is communicated with the teachers and the students prior to starting therapy, because it's important that they know where the students are going. So in this location, there are some very basic technology requirements. All of the software is cloud-based, and what that means is you don't have to worry about downloading a ton of software and making sure that it's compatible. It's a very seamless and easy setup. And when our IT specialist is working with the district IT specialist, they'll make sure that nothing within the district's firewalls are blocking the website that needs to be accessed. And other than that, it's just making sure that you have a good computer that connects to an Ethernet connection so that there's no interruption in the internet connection. And then you have a webcam. Sometimes a headset is necessary, but other times students who have sensory disorders may not be able to tolerate the headset. So there are some different configurations that are made in different cases and for different reasons. But ultimately, it's very simple to get up and running with the technology. And other than that, good lighting is important. usually lighting comes in toward that student's face so that the lighting is even and doesn't cast a bunch of shadows onto the student's face.
So once we finalize those technical details, services can be scheduled according to the student's IEP. So there are a few things that are important to remember when developing the therapy schedule. First, it's important that the online provider and the district collaborate as much as possible during this process to ensure that the schedule works for everybody involved. That would be, including the therapists, the teachers or their learning coaches, and the students. It's also important that the students are scheduled at a time when they can regularly attend without distractions and additional stressors that could interfere with their progress. And one last thing that's important to consider is the availability of all the students who might be grouped together, what classes they might miss, if any, and availability of the equipment that's necessary to conduct an effective online session. And once that schedule is done, the district chooses a facilitator who is available during a scheduled therapy times to assist students as needed. So the role of the facilitator varies, but most often it includes turning the equipment on and getting it set up for therapy, as well as helping the students sign in to their online therapy sessions. Facilitators might also provide basic technical troubleshooting, such as adjusting the webcam or adjusting the microphone volume. And occasionally, depending on the needs of the student, the facilitator might have a more active role, assisting the student through therapy tasks during the session according to the online therapist lead. And finally, once all of those previous steps have been completed, therapy can begin. So it's a good idea to have tech support on deck in case of any minor glitches that need ironed out on that first day. But usually it's a really smooth start, and therapists and students are able to build rapport and engage in super fun, effective therapy sessions. So in summary here, we hope that we've kind of painted the picture that blending on-site and online therapy really isn't as hard as some people might think. So online therapy is becoming more and more prevalent. It's a growing field, and it's going to become a bigger part of special education now and in the future. We're not in competition with on-site therapy. We really would love to support those on-site therapists, support on-site staff, so that we can reach better student outcomes. And blending on-site and online therapy, again, it's completely customizable, completely tailored to your needs. It's cost-effective, and it can be really successful for your district.